Lawrence Julius Taylor, born February 4, 1959, nicknamed LT, is an American former football linebacker who played in the National Football League, NFL, for 13 seasons with the New York Giants. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest defensive players of all time. After an All-American career at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, 1978 to 1981, Taylor was selected by the Giants second overall in the 1981 NFL Draft. Although controversy surrounded the selection due to Taylor's contract demands, the two sides quickly resolved the issue. Taylor was named both the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 1981 and the only NFL player to win the AP NFL Defensive Player of the Year award in his rookie season. Throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, Taylor was a disruptive force at outside linebacker and is credited with changing defensive game plans, defensive pass rushing schemes, offensive line blocking schemes, and offensive formations used in the NFL. Taylor produced double-digit sacks each season from 1984 through 1990, including a career high of 20.5 in 1986. He also won a record 3 AP NFL Defensive Player of the Year awards, since tied by J. Watt and Aaron Donald, and was named the league's most valuable player, MVP, for his performance during the 1986 season. He and Alan Page, 1971, are the only defensive players in league history to earn the award. Taylor was named first-team All-Pro in 8 of his first 10 seasons and second-team All-Pro in the other 2. Taylor was a key member of the Giants' defense, nicknamed the Big Blue Wrecking Crew, that led New York to victories in Super Bowls 21 and XXV. During the 1980s, Taylor, Carl Banks, Gary Reasons, Brad Van Pelt, Brian Kelly, Pepper Johnson, and Hall of Famer Harry Carson earned the Giants' linebacking core a reputation as one of the best in the NFL, along with the nickname Crunch Bunch. He has a net worth of approximately $200,000. Before we continue, kindly subscribe to this channel for exciting news of sportsmen and women in NFL. Hall of Fame linebacker Lawrence Taylor was charged in South Florida, failing to update his address on the state's sex offender registry, according to court records. The former New York Giants linebacker turned himself in to the Broward County Sheriff's Office on Wednesday and was released with no bail. He pleaded not guilty on the third-degree felony charge, according to court records. It's the second time he's been charged with the offense. In 2021, he blamed a divorce for not updating authorities about an address change. Taylor pleaded guilty in New York in 2011 to misdemeanor sexual misconduct charges. He was sentenced to 6 years of probation and ordered to register as a sex offender. Early life. Taylor was the first of 3 sons born to Clarence and Iris Taylor in Williamsburg, Virginia. His father worked as a dispatcher at the Newport News shipyards, while his mother was a schoolteacher. Referred to as Lonnie by his family, Taylor was a mischievous youth. His mother said that he was a challenging child. Where the other 2 boys would ask for permission to do stuff, Lonnie would just do it, and when you found out about it, he would give you a big story. Taylor concentrated on baseball as a youth, playing catcher, and only began playing football at the advanced age of 15. He did not play organized high school football until the following year, 11th grade, and was not heavily recruited coming out of high school. Personal life. Taylor began using illicit drugs during his professional rookie season, 1981 to 1982. He would pass the NFL's drug tests, however, by routinely obtaining his teammates' urine to submit as his own urine samples. As his drug habit escalated, he would spend up to thousands of dollars a day on coke and women. His first wife, Linda, once had to pick him up from a crack house. And he once attended a team meeting still handcuffed from the night before by some ladies that were trying out some new equipment, but just didn't happen to have the key, he would recall. In 1987, he finally tested positive for cocaine and admitted to using it. The next year, 1988, he failed a second drug test, whereupon the NFL suspended him for 30 days. With that, he abstained from drugs until his 1993 retirement, as a third failed drug test would end his career. Yet he would later recall that in retiring, I saw Blow as the only bright spot in my future. During 1995, he went through drug rehab twice. But over the next 3 years, he was arrested twice, via undercover police officers, for attempts to buy cocaine. Meanwhile, he associated mainly with drug users, and his home usually had white sheets over its windows. I had gotten really bad. I mean, my place was almost like a crack house, Taylor would later explain. Career. After graduating from Lafayette High School in 1977, Taylor attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where he was a team captain and wore number 98. Originally recruited as a defensive lineman, Taylor switched to linebacker before the 1979 season. He had 16 sacks in his final year there, 1980, and set numerous defensive records. He was recognized as a consensus first-team All-American and the Atlantic Coast Conference Player of the Year in 1980. The coaching staff marveled at his intense, reckless style of play. As a freshman playing on special teams, he'd jump a good 6 or 7 feet in the air to block a punt, then land on the back of his neck, said North Carolina assistant coach Bobby Cale. He was reckless, just reckless. UNC later retired Taylor's jersey. NFL career. In the 1981 NFL Draft, Taylor was selected by the New York Giants in the first round as the second pick overall. In a poll of NFL general managers, GMs, taken before the draft, 26 of the league's 28 GMs said if they had the first selection they would select Taylor. One of the 2 GMs who said they would not take Taylor was Bum Phillips, who had just been hired as coach and general manager by the New Orleans Saints. As fate would have it for Taylor, the Saints were also the team who had the first pick in the draft. On draft day, Phillips made good on his promise not to draft Taylor, and the Saints instead selected Heisman Trophy-winning halfback George Rogers with the first pick, leaving the Giants with the decision of whether to select Taylor. Aside from incurring a penalty for a late hit on Eagles running back Perry Harrington, Taylor played a nondescript game. In a game versus the St. Louis Cardinals later in the season, Taylor rushed and sacked the passer when he was supposed to drop into coverage. When told by Parcells that was not what he was assigned to do on that play, and that what he did was not in the playbook, Taylor responded, "Well, we better put it in on Monday, because that play's a dandy." He recorded 9.5 sacks in 1981, and his rookie season is considered one of the best in NFL history. He was named 1981's NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. In 1986, Taylor had one of the most successful seasons by a defensive player in the history of the NFL. He recorded a league-leading 20.5 sacks and became one of just 2 defensive players to win the NFL Most Valuable Player award and the only defensive player to be the unanimous selection for MVP. Following the 1990 season, Parcells, with whom Taylor had become very close, retired, and the team was taken over by Ray Handley. 1991 marked a steep decline in Taylor's production. It became the first season in his career in which he failed to make the Pro Bowl squad, after setting a then record by making it in his first 10 years in the league. Taylor finished with 7 sacks in 14 games, and the Giants' defense, while still respectable, was no longer one of the top units in the league. In Taylor's final year in the NFL, he started a company called All Pro Products. The company went public at $5 a share and tripled in value during its first month. The stock price reached $16.50 a share, at which point Taylor's stake had an estimated value of over $10 million. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe to this channel.